Welcome to today's episode of Between Neens and Deens. My name is Nina, and I'm joined by my best friend, partner, and baby daddy, Dayon.
And together, we're a couple of 20-something-year-olds just trying to navigate this whole first-time parenting thing.
So we're laying it all out there and talking about all the things you wish your parents told you about love, sex, and happiness. So this is our first podcast, which is pretty crazy. I feel like I've been wanting to do a podcast for so long.
It's been quite some time.
It's been some time, and I feel like it's so nerve-wracking sitting in front of the mic right now. But it's time. Let's do this. Let me just introduce myself. My name is Nina, and I am 24 years old, and I am pregnant. I am pregnant as hell. We are 7 months, 32 weeks right now, and this is Dayon. Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Dayon. I am the baby daddy. I'm 28 years old. We've been together for how long now?
Since August of 2018. No, 2017.
Wow, she can't even remember our anniversary.
Oh my God, is it 2017?
Oh
2017
goodness.
is when we met.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like right before my 22nd birthday.
So just a quick rundown. She told me she loved me on the second date. So, love at first sight? You tell me.
I don't know. I mean, I guess we can share like how we met briefly. It's like the longest story of all time.
It is long, so we'll give y'all the brief rundown.
But like we
of how
wanted,
it happened.
yeah, I wanted to share with you guys how we met and a little bit about us, just because this podcast is gonna be a little bit different from other ones out there. It's gonna be incredibly personal, and I want you guys to be able to have a base understanding of who we are as people before we're like sharing your opinions and things, because you'll get a bit of background on us, which is, I think, important.
Especially if you don't know Nina's YouTube.
Yeah, so I mean, okay, before we get into how we even first met, I am a content creator. I know people hate the word influencer. I honestly don't really care. I think that it's quite limiting in like what it encompasses that we do, but yeah, that's me. I do that full time. I have a YouTube channel, I have an Instagram, so you can check that out if you want. I'll just plug myself real quick at your girl Neens.
She's really good at what she does. Yeah.
And then you are a freelance graphic designer.
Yes.
But also gonna be full-time
stay-at-home daddy? Is that what it is?
Full-time stay-at-home daddy. I was like, what are the words that I'm looking for?
Stay-at-home daddy.
And right now, Dayon helps me out a lot, which is great. Like low-key assistant to all things personal and work, which is amazing.
Thank you,
but
baby. Yeah,
you're welcome. We gotta gas you up a little bit.
Yeah, well, I need it.
Yeah, but that is a little bit about us and like kind of what we do and how we first met. I mean, if you are not new to my YouTube and Instagram, then I'm sure that you've heard this all before, and I apologize to you in advance. But everyone else that's new, this is a little bit about us. Dayon was working at a print shop. Yeah, I was like, what is the word? Baby brain is real. I can't remember anything right now.
Yeah, there's a lot that she forgets these days.
Yeah.
But yes, we met at a print shop. I was working there as graphic designer and project manager. And then she just came in.
So like I had ordered online business cards, and this is when I just started my YouTube and Instagram. So I'm like, you need the best out there. Like I want quality. I don't want like any of that cheap shit. Like I want quality ass business cards, because this is gonna.
On this podcast?
I can do whatever I want on this podcast. This is our podcast.
You're a boss now. Huh?
But yeah, I was like, I want quality. So I kind of looked up like the best print shops in Vancouver. I went ahead, placed my order, and they were like, okay, this is great. You're gonna need to come in to
see a proof.
Yeah, that's the term. So basically that's just where they show you like, hey, this is what it's gonna look like. If it looks great to you, then we're gonna go ahead and print all of them.
So she walked in, we locked eyes immediately.
At this point, also, I should note that I'm in college. I moved to Vancouver from San Francisco to attend UBC.
But yeah, so when she walked in, she just looked so cute. Her outfit was on point.
I remember what I was wearing,
too. She had big hoop earrings, so I knew that she wasn't from Vancouver, like, because that's just not a Vancouver thing.
Yeah.
I basically wanted to ask her, like, yo, what do your parents do? Where are they? No, I'm just kidding. But no, I wanted to know everything about her. But then I was like, let's not be creepy. Let's just keep it to a bare minimum. So yeah, you just looked at the proof. I gave you my business card.
You missed the most important part. There was Dayon sitting on the right side, and there was another guy sitting on the left side. Both people there to help you. And when I walked in, I had to walk straight for like a little bit. and our eyes locked.
I
didn't even look at the other guy, but our eyes locked, and it to me felt like the whole room slowed down. Like I had never in my life experienced, and I'm not gonna say
I thought you were just walking slowly.
I'm not gonna say that it was love at first sight, because I mean, studies have shown, not studies, but scientists have said, so believe whatever you want, but scientists have said that it's not actually love. That's not what you're feeling. Obviously, it's a very different emotion, but it's just a really strong attraction. That's more than just like, oh, hey, I think that person's cute.
Is it like a spike in your heart rate?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a spike in your heart rate, but I think it was initial attraction. I was like, oh, like, okay, it wasn't even, oh, I think he's cute. It was just, who is this person?
Which is important too. I think that's a good sign when you meet someone for the first time.
But it doesn't always happen. Like, I've met and dated people that I am definitely attracted to, and I'm like, oh, like, that's a cute person.
Yeah, but where are they now?
Yeah. But that's the thing, is that, yeah, it's a very, very different type of attraction. So it's not something I'd ever felt before. So I was like, whoa, that was weird. And it happened so quickly that I was like, okay, whatever. I'm here to talk about my proof. Mm-hmm. And so we end up exchanging information because he's a graphic designer. And I was like, you know what? Actually, I want to make more creative friends. And so he gave me his business card. I looked him up because he seemed like the kind of guy that would have an Instagram. And of
course I did.
You did. And of course you had a girlfriend of 2 years, which was quite a shock to me because I really felt like we had like a strong connection, like whatever. But
all the listeners are like, that fucking bitch. How dare he?
And the most interesting thing is actually that you guys had your 2-year anniversary at the restaurant that I work at. And it was on the one night that I wasn't working. So it was like a Wednesday, I'm pretty sure. And I only worked like Tuesday, Thursdays, whatever. And the more that we talked,
small window.
Yeah, it's crazy. The more that we talked, we realized that there's so many opportunities where we could have met each other beforehand. Like, you were working at a nightclub that I was working for, like, the head company that owns that nightclub, and we were like both in that environment at the same time.
There were so many situations where we could have crossed paths, but this was the time, though. So
it was meant to be. But anyways, I mean, I guess it wasn't because you were in a relationship. Regardless, months pass and that relationship ends for just reasons outside of me and you meeting.
Yeah, that was just like the ship, you know, but what is the word? How do they say it?
The ship has sailed?
Not the ship has sailed, but like the ride has come to an end.
Yeah, I mean, love is a journey, and I guess that journey ended for you guys.
It was just like a natural, like, it was just like, yeah, it was coming to an end, and when it did, like, that was about it. We got, like, enough is enough, and that's when I was like, maybe I'll send this girl a message. That girl that I met a few months ago at the print shop that was super cute, had big hoop earrings, was from the States. So yeah, and then we started our conversation via Instagram. You told me that you don't want to be a rebound, which I completely respected.
Well, yeah, before that, he was like, yeah, I felt this, like, connection when we met. Like, is that weird? And I was like, yeah, it's weird because you have a girlfriend. But he was like, no, we broke up and whatever. And I was like, okay, well, it seems really recent, so I don't want to be a rebound. I don't want to deal with that type of baggage, because at that point I was seeing somebody else, but we were not exclusive. We discussed it. And so I was like, yeah, like, I mean, I'm open to getting to know you because we did have that initial connection and, like, flirting thing that was, like, strong, that felt strong. And it's hard to date in Vancouver, man. So I was like, you stylish, you tall, and, like, you can handle being boxes. I mean, you can handle being in a relationship, which I think for me was important because I'd been in serious relationships and I don't really want to be with somebody that was, like, it's so new to them. I was definitely interested in getting to know you, but at the same time I was seeing somebody else and I was, like, very content in that situation. So I was like, you sort yourself out and then you come and you talk to me, because I'm just not going to deal with somebody else's baggage right now.
Yeah, so when we did meet up, it was interesting. I was actually quite nervous. And I don't get too nervous in regards to, like, going on dates, but when I was, like, about to go on a date with you, I was like, oh my God, like, what do I do? Where do I take her? What do I wear? And I was like,
and now knowing you, I'm like, that is 100% you. Yeah. Just, like, so, like, are you okay?
But when we did meet up, it was just like everything flowed so naturally, but I was visibly nervous because we were supposed to eat we were supposed to go out, like, obviously it's a date, so we're gonna go to eat, and that's the one thing that we didn't do.
He was like, do you want to go here? Oh no, you've been there? Okay, never mind. Do you want to go here? Do you want this? Like, do you like mojitos? And I was like, finally, I was like, yes, I like mojitos. So we went to Havana's on Commercial and we talked for a really long time. We talked about
Super long time,
communism.
yeah.
That's all I can really remember from that first conversation.
Yeah, because I mean, both our families come from like war-stricken country, which were both communist countries.
Very
but, like,
different relationships.
Yeah, our families had different outlooks on communism, but it was just interesting to talk about all of that and just like a lot of topics, a lot of conversation. It was like really like it was just flowed. It was like really nice. It was so natural.
I really felt like I knew you for so much longer.
Yeah.
And I don't think I realized, like, that's the thing with when you're dating somebody, especially if you've not dated a lot of people before. So, like, when I was, like, fresh out of high school, coming out of my first, like, real serious relationship, and I started dating, you're like, okay, like, this is what's out there, that this is what's available. And like I mentioned, dating in Vancouver is so hard. Just being, like, an Asian female. I don't know, like, what it is, but it was difficult. And I feel like I kind of got to a point where it's not like it broke me down, but I was just like, I don't think I'm gonna meet this person that I think I idealize myself being with in my mind, like somebody that can be emotionally open, like is like open about like what they want to achieve in their life and like their goals and their fears. And like I honestly convinced myself that what I wanted wasn't real, like it just didn't exist. And meeting somebody like Dayon that was very open with his emotions and like able to just talk to me about literally anything under the sun. It wasn't like, oh, okay, like these are my hobbies, and like it was like ego jumping out at you, which happens so much.
Yeah, it was just like deep conversation too, and like we really got to know each other so quickly.
Yeah, just in like
really,
that
really
first
quickly,
date,
yeah.
like by the end of it, we were sitting by False Creek. My legs were on top of yours. We were holding hands. We'd already had our first kiss. Yeah, I remember all these details. I know you don't because your memory's awful.
My memory is, I don't know what happened to it. It's just.
But it felt like I knew you for like years. Yeah. Like it was crazy, and like I couldn't describe this feeling, and I couldn't have even dreamt, like you said earlier, like taking off all my boxes. Like I didn't even really have boxes, but it's like everything that you were presenting yourself to be was things that I didn't even know that I wanted, that I couldn't even vocalize, you know? And it just flowed so easy. Like the way that we are talking right now was the same way we talked to each other on our first date.
It was like the sense of comfort and yeah, just like feeling like we know each other even though it's only been like second date. But anyways, yeah, so I was like
first date. That was the
first date,
yeah.
sorry. And then yeah, the second date was just like just to go to show about like what communication too. Like we said like let's meet up in the morning because he had nothing. We had no plans.
He was like, when can I see you again? And I was like, well, what are you doing tomorrow? Because I wasn't doing shit. And it was like summer. I was like in school. But like, I don't think I had school the next day. So
yeah. And I'm going to say dating in Vancouver is tough both ways. Because even sometimes like with me, with the communicating with girls and stuff, like there's always that like, oh, if I hit someone up too early, maybe they'll be like scared off. You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, they won't call you, or they like say that they will, and then they like send you a text later that says something
it's like
completely
too scared,
different.
where if like I got scared of my emotions.
Like people that are a little bit, like, and I understand that because you know people can get hurt, especially when they're that vulnerable that quickly. But yeah,
I'm not that kind of person at all.
I know.
I'm like
I'm so grateful for.
Dive deep. I was like, I want somebody to be fucking crazy with me and just like jump off this bridge and just be vulnerable. Tell me that you like me. Tell me how you're feeling. Like
tell me that you love me.
Tell me that you love me. So yeah, that next morning I was like, yeah, just call me when you wake up. And I woke up at 8 a.m., which is way earlier than I normally wake up. But I was like, what the fuck? Why didn't he call me? So I called him instantly.
Well, I was thinking like, oh, when I wake her up, maybe like I'll grab a coffee and then I'll like text her like, hey, what you doing? But no, I woke up to a phone call and I was like, clearing my throat real quick. Hello.
I mean, that's the thing is I think that if you were anybody else, like you probably would have been like, this girl's crazy. Like,
no, but I was like so happy. I was like, I really appreciated that kind of communication and just like how like raw and authentic you were to like yourself and just like not afraid to put yourself out there. And yeah, it was like super, I don't know, I was just like really happy when I got that phone call. And then after that, it was just like so easy to like go anywhere together, like shopping, eating. There was like no awkward moments at that point just because I guess we were so vulnerable and we weren't afraid to like be our complete selves, which was such a refreshing
it's
feeling.
Rare because like it's gotten me so fucked up in the past before where like people get really scared where I'm like, hey, like I really like you, like I really feel like this is like something like we watch way too much like reality TV love shows where I'm starting to use that language like no but I'm like using the language where I'm like I feel like we have a real connection like but like that's genuinely like I would say things not that corny to people, but I would be like, yeah, like I really like you, like how do you feel about where we're at, whatever. And it scares people, like it really 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 scares people. And I've had people just like leave or like not want to continue whatever situation we had because I feel like they were more scared of like, oh, this girl's coming on way too strong. But I was like, genuinely, this is how I feel. So like just either meet me here or like just tell me so I'm not wasting my time. And I never expected that I would meet somebody that was on that same level because I was really made to feel like something was wrong with me because like I wanted those things. And like even my friends would be like, Nina, like you can't be expecting people to want that at that pace with you.
And you should never feel that way. Like you should never feel like
something's wrong
something
with
is
you.
wrong with you and that you I mean if it's something negative about you then you should change it, but like
well,
but like if it's something
as
much as like the way
out.
you want to receive love and the way that like and just like the way you are like that shouldn't like you shouldn't feel bad about that and want to change that. And
for sure.
It just takes time to like find that
there's
person
like you
that
just
will
gotta
really,
find that person that's gonna match your crazy. Like even when we're watching all these reality TV shows and stuff, it's like, okay, like that person's probably not my person, but there is a person out there for you.
And they find them.
Yeah, and they find them. I don't know how these
Sometimes,
producers do it, but they
when
find
it's like,
them.
Yo, this person is so crazy, and then they find another person that's exactly as crazy, and then you're like, oh, you know what, that works.
Yeah, and it's like you don't need to bend over backwards and change who you are so that you can accommodate somebody else, because I see it happen all the time, and I used to do it all the time. Like I would fully change like my interest and like whatever just to match this other person, and it's like, for what? Like at the end of the day, like that's not who you are, and you want someone to be with you
that
because
doesn't
of
last
who you are.
too.
Yeah, no, it's not sustainable.
When you're not being the real authentic version of yourself, you can't constantly be that person, you know?
Wrapping up our story about how we met, on our second date, we did have sex, and then in the middle of it, I cried and told you that I loved you.
Oh my God.
Because that's what crazy people do. No, but I know it was genuinely how I was feeling. Like it was so overwhelming. Obviously, the love that I felt for you, or the really strong emotion that I felt for you in that moment in time, was real. And that's how I felt. And it was authentic to how I felt then. But obviously, that love looks very different from like the love that we share now, because it's now we have like time and we have like the struggles that we've gone through that makes it stronger. But yeah, definitely in that moment, I was like, I don't know what is happening right now. And I've been in love 2 times before this. So it's like, it's not like I was like, what is this new feeling that I've never, like, I was just like, I really have never felt anything like this before, because it was even stronger than like maybe the emotions of love that I'd felt in the past. So,
and it didn't feel irrational when you said it. I think it made sense.
Yeah, it took Dan a while to say it back. But that's because he had just come out of a
I think if I was single for a minute, it wouldn't take me as long as it did. I think it was more just like it felt.
You said it later that day, so it wasn't even like that much longer.
But still, like I would have said it immediately to you. But I think it took me some time just because my thought process in this situation was that it just felt weird from telling another girl that I love her almost every day for like 2 years, and then to like being in a new relationship and then thinking like, oh, is this fair to the other person? But then in the same time, I was like, I need to just think about myself and how I personally feel. And I do love this girl, Nina. So I'm like, I have to tell her.
Did it feel the same way to you? Or like, how does that love or what you were feeling then either relate to like now, or like other emotions that you felt? Like, would you still say that was love?
Yeah, I would say it was love. It was just like, like it was very, I mean, when we slept together, that was very sensual and it felt really nice.
Sorry, parents, if you're listening to this.
Oh my goodness. I don't think they even know where to find the podcast.
No, my mom said she was going to listen to this as she goes to sleep at night. Okay.
Well, I'm sorry. Sorry, I just like lost my train of thought after you said that your parents are listening. So yeah.
Now you're nervous.
My palms are sweating. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so like it was love. I think it was love, but I'm not gonna say like I felt a little bit guilty for feeling like happy again so soon.
You did feel guilty.
But I
dealt with so many Pisces tears during that period of time.
I did feel guilty, but like I knew that you were the type of person that I wanted in my life, and you told me that you loved me, which did like shock me, but I was like, that's awesome. But yeah, I needed some time to just like think about everything. And I mean, at the end of the day, like before you said I love you, I said I like you very, very much.
Yeah, because that's the thing. That's the thing. He kept telling me, he was like, I like you so much. And he just kept saying that. So I was like, I think you love me. And then he was like, I think you love me. And I was like, I love you. Oh. That's how the conversation actually went. So it was right at the moment, but you definitely have expressed in the past that like you kind of wish that we had gone through more of the normal milestones
More
that
of the,
people
like, yeah, just
go through, like casually dating for a little bit and then saying I love you at a more appropriate time and like things like that. And I kind of do wish that we went through that too, just because we would have had more time to go through the motions, but at the same time,
to like kind of stop and smell the roses, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And
but at the
just,
same
like,
time, it was like, to me, it just felt right.
yeah.
And I'm a very impulsive person, so I feel like I always want to speak my mind. And I think I was so, not jaded, but like just because of my past experiences was like, I don't want to accommodate other people's games, and I don't want to just adhere to what people think you should do. I want to do what feels right to me emotionally in that moment in time. And that was that. So
And that's what brings us to here. We are pregnant, and
I mean,
we've been living together for some time now. We started a little business together, and then
Saturday morning cereals. We did some pop-ups. We went through a lot in the last 2 years, and
definitely.
I mean, I'm sure as the podcast progresses, we'll learn about all of that, everything in between.
We'll definitely unfold a lot of the things we went through, a lot of the topics,
trials and tribulations
of our relationship, and just like the experiences we've had together so far. So we also have a cat. He's a beautiful black cat. His name is X.
We have come a long way from where we started to where we are now. I never could have imagined this is where we'd be. I never thought I would be pregnant at 24. I just always assumed that I would get married and then pregnant. Not that I was like, you need to do one and then the other. I just kind of assumed that was where my life was headed and where we were headed.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't play out that way. We got pregnant, or we found out in September. We'll have a whole episode, we have one lined up about talking about when we found out and kind of what the decision making process was like and how emotional that was. But I definitely didn't think that this is where we would end up, but I think it's 100% where we need to be, or where we want to be. Yeah.
Being 28 years old, I when I was younger, I always assumed that I would have kids by this age, because like my parents had kids like before, like they had kids at like 26. So I always thought like, oh, like I want kids around 27, 28, and here I am. So I'm on track.
You're
on schedule.
Track.
You're a little before your time, but no, I'm just kidding.
And it's just crazy how different our life is in the last 2.5 years, because when we first started dating, I was a student and I won't say broke, but I didn't really have any money because I was a student. My parents paid for my college. They helped me with my rent, and
I paid for all the dates.
Yeah, Dayon paid for all the dates, and Dayon was working a 9 to 5. Like, our whole money situation has completely flip-flopped.
Totally.
Where now you're helping to support me, and I'm the primary breadwinner, which is going to be another fun episode we'll dive into in a podcast, and what that's like, because it's weird. It's so weird for me to be a primary breadwinner, because I never, ever, ever thought that I'd be in this position.
Never imagined that, yeah.
I never imagined it. And yeah, we're starting a podcast, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole journey, I guess I'll share a little bit about why I wanted to start one and maybe why I didn't earlier. I always kind of wanted to, but I never could really figure out what it is I wanted to talk about, or kind of what the purpose was, because obviously I have an Instagram, I have a YouTube, I have platforms that allow me to share parts of my life with people, and I try to share as much as possible and be authentic in that. But every medium is so different, and with YouTube it's visual based, and people get a really good idea of what your personality is like through that, and kind of your creativity. And Instagram is very fast. It's pretty easy to create that content and post, and you can be vulnerable. And so with both of those platforms, I created an audience, or kind of a space where I can really use it creatively as an outlet, especially in regards to fashion and makeup and things like that. And going through pregnancy and soon parenthood, obviously there's going to be a big shift in my life. A podcast is where we have space to share this part of our life with you guys, the parenting, the pregnancy, the relationships, the sex, all of that stuff, even money and
more of the personal things.
Yeah, the really personal, behind the scenes, things we fight about, things we fucking hate about each other, things that we love about each other. I do tease that in all of the other platforms, but it just is never as in depth as I want it to be. Mm-hmm. And so having this platform and a space to talk about our child and talk about the things that we go through is for me, I feel like going to be really therapeutic and really special. But it's just like, I feel like with every platform, like there's a time and a place for it. And so there's finally a time and a place for this platform to come alive.
Hence the name Between Neens and Deens. These
shout out to my...
These are conversations that are normally between me and her, but now it is out in the open in this podcast for you guys all to listen. Shout out to your followers.
Yes, shout out to my followers, because I had no idea what to call this, and we had so many great suggestions, but I was like, I love this one because it's what goes on in our personal life, and whether you guys agree with how we live our life or not, I feel like it's important to kind of get that perspective of like, young parents, we're doing this for the first time ever, and do we really know what we're doing? No, but weirdly enough, I feel like we're really not scared. Like, we're both so excited for this new chapter in our life, and
we're definitely gonna make some mistakes, and we're gonna learn a lot of things.
Parenthood.
And I think even if you read every single book there is, you will make a mistake.
Everyone that, I don't know, catches up with us, they're like, are you not nervous? Like, why do you guys seem so calm? But I don't know what it is.
Maybe because we move so fast, how our relationship moves so fast, and we're good. It was kind of like...
I love to live my life by just fucking making decisions, seeing where life leads me, and then figuring it out from there. Like, I think that's the most fun. Is it the most practical? Not really, but that's how I like to operate my life. So, I mean, with this whole pregnancy, it was unexpected. We did not plan it. And I made the decision to keep it. I say it, but he's so...
To keep him.
He's
to keep our bundle
he's
of joy.
Almost a fully grown baby. So, but it's weird. I still refer to him as an it. I don't know why.
Well, maybe he just hasn't decided his pronoun yet.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I decided to keep them, and...
Well, that just sounds like you're having twins, though.
That's true. That's true. We will respect his pronouns, whatever they may be, when he decides, when he can vocalize them to us.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think that's a wrap on this episode. We clearly don't know how to end things because we've never done one before.
So, enjoy every single episode after this is going to be like an hour long.
Yeah,
we do not know how to wrap topics up. Well, this one also is just a general topic of an introduction to us.
Introduction. So I apologize to any followers out there if any of this information was repetitive, but I promise that in the future, all other episodes will be quite interesting. I mean, I think they're interesting topics, but if you do have any suggestions of things you would love for us to talk about, whether it's about relationships, money, sex, love, whatever,
parenting,
personal growth, please slide into either my DMs at Your Girl Neens. We also have our own Instagram for this podcast. I believe it's at Neens Deens. I created that originally as like a couples page that never took off because I'm so bad at posting, but I've converted it now into our podcast.
It's funny that
page.
You're so bad at posting.
Yeah, well, I'm just not good at maintaining like
making more
5 Instagrams. Like I can't do that. So
it is hard. It's tough.
Yeah, do hit us up with any suggestions. We would love to know what you guys want to hear, and check us out. Make sure that you follow us. I was gonna say subscribe, but I don't think it's like YouTube like that. But
download,
follow,
send it to a friend,
download,
email it, forward it, share it.
Yeah,
tweet about us. I don't know what it is.
Engage with however
these things work. Yeah, just do it all. Do whatever you can. You guys know more than we do.
Call to action here. Insert here.
Insert call to action. Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and I am so excited for this journey. I hope you guys are too.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.